Welcome, I'm George, and this is a companion to my presentation, AI for the Beekeeper Made Easy, from the 2026 South Carolina Beekeepers Association Spring Conference. It's going to show you how you can use Gemini to make your life a lot easier in your beekeeping journey. So, in order to use Gemini, the first thing you're going to want to do is go up to Google and just type in gemini.google.com in your search engine, your search bar. You can use any browser, and that will bring you to the Gemini app. Now, Gemini is an AI tool, an AI app like ChatGPT or Copilot or some of the others that are out there. It's one I've just choose to use. And what we're going to do first is I'm going to kind of show you what's going on here on the screen, and then we're going to do some searches, some chats with it to see what it can generate. So over here on the side, this is usually closed. So you'll use this button here to expand open, and it shows us several things. So the first thing is we've got this search icon up here. And this allows us to search a list of our recent chats. Now right now we've only got the 2 in here, but you can over time accumulate quite a few. The next thing here is we have this new chat option, and it calls a chat when you ask Gemini something, and that's what that's where you'll need to be in order to start that. Now, if it's something you want to save, you'll use the new chat. If it's something that you really don't care that it goes away, it doesn't get here permanently in your list of chats, you'll use this little button here for a temporary chat, but it works essentially the same way. The next thing here is we have My Stuff. So if you create any images, any videos, files, those kinds of things as a part of your chat with Gemini, it will show up here. After that, we have gems. I'm not going to go too deep here. It's a little beyond the scope of this presentation, this video. But what it does is it's little tools that you can use. They call them agents that you can use to enhance your interaction with Gemini. Like this one here, recipe, it allows you to put in several things out of your refrigerator and it spits out recipes for you. Then we have this claymation explainer, which is kind of neat. You can put some information into it and it will actually create a infographic done in a claymation style. You can create your own. It does take a little bit of knowledge of how to do it, but it's not very hard. It uses just plain text, and you just write a bunch of information in, and it does it. After that, we have our list of chats down here, and I'll cover both of these in a second. And then we have the settings and help. Now, the first thing we have in settings and help is the activity here. This is a kind of a history of all our activity with Gemini, and we can turn it on or off. And then we can also control how long it keeps our activity. It's defaulting to 18 months, but we can change that. And we can also set it to where it doesn't delete it at all. The next item we have here is instructions for Gemini. And what that allows us to do is customize Gemini in that we're allowed to put information in there about us and about the chats, gives us some background about the things we want to know. So I'm going to add a little information about me. And it's basically, I'm a 57-year-old male beekeeper on the coast of South Carolina. I currently have 6 hives and focus on honey production. Now there's a couple things here that are important. One is my location. So as we know as beekeepers, the climate and your location can change how you take care of your bees. Also, I put my gender in there because I may, for instance, want to say, what are the 10 best beekeeping suits out there? Well, I don't want to see a bunch of ones for women, and there's a lot of great ones that have come out recently, but they're not going to really help me. So that'll help it limit those to male beekeeping suits. And the fact that I'm focusing on honey production and only have 6 hives, that will help it determine whether or not it wants to maybe give a more commercial slant to the information it gives me or more of a hobbyist slant. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. Now, if we want to, we can also turn it off temporarily up here and then turn it back on, and we can you can delete all of them, and you can also show some examples that it kind of gives you some of the examples you can use. After that, we have connected apps, and that too is a little beyond the scope of this video, but that just has to do with, you can actually tie Gemini into other applications and use the power of Gemini in those apps that support it, and that's where you manage that. Next off is we have your public links, and that shows all the links that you've shared from your searches. So I created this earlier, and the way I created it is I went here and I hit shared conversation, and that puts it right here. And I can delete it from here, I can copy it and share it. And of course I can delete all links. Next off, we have our theme. So I have this based on system, so this just has to do with what this looks like. So whatever my system's set to, be it light or dark, that's what it's going to go with. I can force it to light, or I can force it to dark. So I'm just going to leave it set to system. After that, we have new subscriptions. There is a paid version of Gemini, and I'll talk more about that in a second. So you can see what your subscription history is and all of that fun stuff there. After that, you can go to Notebook LM. And Notebook LM is an awesome tool in that it allows you to take your own sources, put them all into a notebook, a virtual digital notebook, and it uses that to search from and build information from. I'll give you an example. For my logging, when I go out and do my inspections, I record it on a digital recorder, and then I take that recording and I upload it to Notebook LM. And then later I can type in there, I can say, when was the last time that I treated for Varroa on Hive 5? Or when was the last queen replacement I did? Those kinds of things. And it'll pull it up, it'll give me, I can say, give me a summary of my last inspections and tell me what I did in each hive. And it pulls from my information and allows me to see what's going on with that. It can also help you for research. You can build research links, and it can summarize the information at those different links. Like I'm using it for my journeyman to collect various resources and then summarize them. And of course we have feedback and help. And it also has my location. So now I'm going to kind of explain to you what the difference is between the paid and the unpaid. So if we go here, this was a chat that I did about a day ago, and I said, what are the benefits of upgrading? Most people, you can get by just fine with the free version. But if you find that you want a little bit faster responses, you want things like deep research where you're doing very involved research projects, you may find that you'll need the pay version. Also, the amount of stuff that you can research at once. And this is 32,000 tokens is free, and you can get up to 1 million tokens. You can think of a token as a word or a period or a space in your question that you're going to type in here in a little while, that we're going to type in a little while. And of course, this is one nice thing about the paid version is if you use Google Docs or Gmail, it plugs Gemini into that as well. And it just talks about some additional things. So if that's something you might be interested in, you can look at that. You know, I don't make any money off of you signing up, so it really doesn't matter to me. It's whatever works for you. Then they also have this concept of credits. When you sign up, you get so many credits. And that just really has to do with some more of the advanced things. So if you see anything about credits, that's what that has to do. And most people won't hit the credit limit, but if you find you're doing that on a regular basis, you might need to upgrade that as well. So now we're going to go ahead and start a chat. And the first chat here, our prompt, and a prompt is what we type in to this box here. They call that a prompt. It's going to be, how do I treat for varroa mites? Put a little question mark there on the end. Now, and then we just hit this, just like, and I like to say, if you can Google, you can AI. And that's all it is we're typing our question in, our prompt in, and we're hitting submit. Now, it's important to add to this that an AI model, which is what Gemini is, it has no feelings. It can't necessarily interpret things. At the end of the day, it's doing some very, very, very supported, educated guesses. And to that end, you have to be generally pretty specific in your prompt. So I like to think of it about similar to talking to a 5-year-old. How would I explain something to a 5-year-old? So this here should be sufficient at this point, and we'll see how we can improve upon it. So we'll go ahead and submit that. Now you notice a couple of things. We have in here South Carolina, and it kind of tailors that to a little bit because it knows where I'm at. And it also calls out my hives that I've got 6. So it's using that instructions there to kind of improve on the response. And if you look here, we have things like the economic threshold of 2 to 3 mites per 100, sorry. I know that currently it's more towards 2. And that's kind of where I tend to hang. And it also talks about the alcohol, using the alcohol wash to get the most accurate count, and gives you several different variants here. And the thing is, here we've got a big caution about the 85 degrees, which is important in my area because during pretty much from May to September, October, there's a lot of days it's over 85. So that's important to know. Good call out there. And then it's got some more recommendations for the coast. And once again, it calls out that here. And nice little catch here on thymol because it can be kind of harsh on bees above 95 degrees. Now you notice it has these little links here. And what that's telling you is where it gets the information from. Now, using just the normal chat, it grounds or augments its model with the search engine, with the Google search engine, and that's where this information is coming from. So if we go down here to the bottom, we can see all the sources that it got it from. So what do we got? We got a couple of bee supplies. So we got a bee supply place, Pennsylvania State University, I believe, Australian, their extension office, Australia, not Australian. And then we have, let's see, I believe that's Minnesota maybe, UMN. And so it tells us all of these different places. Now, it's important to know that Gemini can make mistakes, and it's right down here so you don't forget it. Because, remember I said earlier, it's making guesses. It's getting a lot of information in, and it has a lot of switches it looks at. And it looks for patterns at the end of the day. And it takes those patterns and clumps, and I say a lot, on millions and millions and millions into the billions of patterns. And it takes all of those, and that's how it arrives at this results here. But occasionally it has to guess. It has to do a guess out of nowhere. We call that hallucination, especially when it's wrong. It kind of makes up information. So that's where these sources are so important, and that's how I tend to use this. I use what's here as a starting point, and then I'll just pick this one for instance. And then I'll go to that page and read it and verify it, check the context, make sure everything's correct. And this one looks like it's pretty good. This is actually from Backyard Beekeeping, which looks like a member's site of some sort. I've actually never come across this one before. And it seems like pretty accurate information. So just kind of keep that in mind. It can make mistakes. Now, if we want to kind of, let's say, ramp it up a bit, we want to get more what Google considers more authoritative or academic sources. They have something called Google Scholar. And Google Scholar will give you things like resource papers, will link to a lot of schools, a lot of places that Google has determined in its magical black box algorithm that they're more authoritative and they're more accurate for whatever reason, right? So we can actually ground or restrict our responses to come just from Google Scholar. And the way we would do that is we would add another prompt and say, please answer my question again using Google Scholar. Now, this is a good point to point out that we're actually having a conversation with chat. So unlike Google, when you're doing a search, everything we have in this chat is fair game for Gemini to respond with. So that allows us just to do this because it knows it's already told us this. So I can say, please answer my question again using Google Scholar. So it's going to go back and say, hey, the question was this. I need to limit my responses to just stuff from Google Scholar instead of the whole web. So let's go ahead and run that. And it even calls it out. Based on recent peer review research and scholarly publications, it goes into depth, more depth. Now you'll notice we don't have any sources listed here. Now there's a source list here, but it's empty. So why is that? Well, with Scholar, you get the sources when it grounds to Google search. You get those kind of for free. You don't have to tell it. But with Scholar, we have to tell it for free. So we have to add another prompt. We have to say that. Now, one thing I didn't mention before is this is actually called prompt chaining. So we're chaining these prompts together. So we go up here. This is our first one. And then this one is chained to that one. And then this one's going to be chained to that one. So it's going to take the output of this and improve upon it. And there we go. So now if we look, we have links here to where we can read the information. Now it's important also to note that if you type the same prompt in two different chats, you're liable to get two different responses. So if you see something here you want to, just like you would with Google search. So if you see something here you want to keep in mind or remember, be sure to save it, but you also have it over here. So the next thing we're going to do is talk about how we can make images. And the images are nice because they can help us improve our presentations and our club meetings, whatever. Kind of add a little bit of pizzazz. So we're going to start a new chat here. And remember I was talking about a 5-year-old earlier. So we want to be very, very clear. And so this is my prompt to make this image. So I want to create a photorealistic image of a beekeeper in their bee apiary. She has all Langstroth 10-frame hives. The beekeeper is a woman with a bee jacket on and veil on her head. So see, I've got to tell them pretty much everything I want to see on there. She should be holding a frame of honey with bees on it that she just took out of an open hive. And I can add anything additional I might want to add in there. Now keep in mind though, you're going to have to be specific about things and not use slang, because Gemini might not understand what you're talking about, or you may get some really crazy results. So we're going to go ahead and run this. And Nano Banana is their image generator. All right, so there we go. It looks pretty close. And then we've got she's holding the frame with the bees on it. She's got a nice veil going on, and she's got everything good to go. Now I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little diamond down here, and this tells us that this is actually an AI generated image. And you can download it, you can share it, you can copy it, do whatnot. So there you go. And with that, I want to thank you. Thank you for your time today. If you got any questions, please put them down in the comments, and I get to them as soon as I can. And I hope you have a wonderful day.